Agud Voch Raboisai. Yidy nishmat Mordecai. Might be wondering, what in the world? Why am I wearing this? Well,
still Yom Kippur in America.
That's one of the reasons. Be'emes. Still Yom Kippur in America. It's a reminder that today's shiur was prepared on Yom Kippur and given just a few hours after Yom Kippur, because we learn a daf every single day. Every day, 365. Sometimes it's inconvenient. And it's a pella that there's so many people here tonight. Most people that don't do the daf are usually asleep right now, or building a sukkah, or whatever. It's not the most convenient time to learn Torah. It's not so comfortable. You're a little out of it. But we learn every single day. And befrat, our brothers in Chutz La'aretz are smack in the middle of the tefillah, and they're up to Ne'ilah. I don't know where they're at. Okay. So, welcome to all the guests. I see we have a number of guests. We'll start with the famous Sholom Rand is in the house. Yishkoyach. Who's next to you, Reb Sholom? What's your name? Avi? You live here and this is your first time here? No. He's here in Shavuos. Okay, yeah. You're the one that walked in. Okay, Givaldic. Wow. Huh? Can I guess what it is? It's the poster from Sukkot. Let me see. Look. Better? Oh, that's a gift. You know what? And I'm gonna Be'ezer Hashem, I'm gonna put this up in my sukkah. Hold on, let me show you. Hold this a second right over here. Shkoyach. Wow, that's a gift. Shkoyach. I can always rely on Reb Sholom. Yeah. Shtusim. You can. Wow. Givaldic. So what do? I need to put this one up. This one. Yeah. I say somebody should hang you right now. How do you? He's gonna get it. Trust me. Hey, you know what? You get in the picture with come for B'Sruli. Here, you hold. A special picture for B'Sruli here. All right. Who else do we have here? Tzaddikim, what are your names? Whoever is a guest. You're a guest. Shalom Aleichem. What? Skruzinski? Wow. What was the remind me what it was about? You're the guy from the you're here. You don't live here. You do live here. So you're gonna hook my son up? Did I tell you know the story about my son? He I don't know if I should say this live in shiur. He entered his very first, I shouldn't say with what you deal with in Miami, and without ruining the you're good, okay. And he won $136,000. He came in number one. Kids, I'm sure he uses your services here and there. It's good. It's Mordecai. Okay, it's Givaldic. Okay, thank you. Wow, he came prepared. Thank you. Yom Kippur, Kippurim. Yeah, what do you have?
My son-in-law, Samuel, first time in shiur.
Isn't he the guy that gives the shiur though?
That's my son.
So what's your name, Nochama, son-in-law? Samuel? Millworm. Sam Millworm. No, how is it to be a son-in-law of Jonathan Stefansky? It's like no other. I can imagine. Best father-in-law. Yeah, because he's the only one. Yeah, who else? Who else is a guest? Raise your hand if you're a guest and you want to speak. Hey, that guy is a guest. I know you was. Shalom Aleichem, everybody. Okay, so welcome. Bibi Badalov. It's interesting. We had this idea, and I told the Olam not to do this, but since he wrote in, I wonder what the Olam thinks. Hi, my name is Bechor Badalov. Started in Brachas. First time emailing. I have an idea that will enhance the big Shabbaton event. Since we have a large group at NDY, we can split up the whole Seder Noshim within an hour, 1 or 2 daf per person, Motzei Shabbos, and then we all make a siyum that we did that day on Seder Noshim. Please see attached picture of how my yeshiva does it. They did it as well for Seder Moed. It was a great success. P.S. The push for learning for Avi Mandelbaum really showed me that we're capable of more than a daf. So interesting idea. I thought that I didn't want to load the Elam up with too much learning chas v'shalom over the weekend, but it might be an idea. Let me know what you think. Mayor Mandel, just pointing out, there are now ads on MDY YouTube videos. There used to be none. Maybe it's a setting you need to change. If you're doing it intentionally to monetize, good luck. It might bother some people. Mayor Mandel. Okay, Mayor, we got it. Who's in charge of that? Nothing to do with us. It happened on a mat. I'm sorry, Mayor, we're sorry. You know what? I have an idea. Just go to all daf and Torah anytime. Much better. Okay, now that we hit 18,000.
Should we turn on ads and monetize it? So at least we make money.
No. It's probably puts on more ads. If we have anything to do with it, take it off right now. Josh and Yal. Good Erev Shabbos. Listen to this, everybody. This moved me. My 11-year-old son listens to this shir and wants to attend the Shabbos Siyum. My husband thinks it's important to go and encourage his learning, but will prefer not to leave the family for Shabbos. We'd like to know if we can attend with all the kids 16 years old until 2 years old. If you prefer to keep it for mainly adults, then only my husband and the 11-year-old will go. I appreciate a prompt response so you can plan accordingly. Thank you so much for the hard work. Shana v'chasima toiva. Why Brody? I don't know what to tell him. I mean, I really want him to come. It's very, very moving, and I don't want him to break up the family. Mitzat Sheni, we have the issue like the kids are kind of disturbed usually. I don't know. Bring the whole family. Only you, not everybody else. The Masechta, Lock and Lebovic families, Lakewood NJ, because torah and achdus. No. Oy vey. I'm going to be busy with this. I'm going to say shit like this. What? Can't do this to the Rav. Lock and Lebovic family, Lakewood NJ, because torah and achdus are the best segula. Panas Chodesh, Rochel bas Leba for Refuah Shlema b'karov. I know what it is. Sholom is doing Chuvas HaMishkol because he went over to Reb Shuli and he did a whole video with him and he gave him a sourdough and then he said, I want you to sign up for MDY. Now he's doing Tshuva. Okay. Your Tshuva is the skabel. Can we take it off? No, you got to keep it on. Panas Chodesh, Yidy Schwartz bas Yosef. Panas Chodesh, as a zchut, that a family should be blessed with health. Simcha nachas for 120. Panas Chodesh, Hatzlocha, zchut, Yosef, Miriam, and Rochel. By the way, I have to break I didn't go home yet. I dive in here in this place, Medrash. But it's okay. Elan, Chaim, Golan. No, I'm kidding. I ate gishmak. Leiluy nishmat, Batsheva, Chaya, bat Miriam. Leiluy nishmat, Zechariah ben Moshe. Parnos hayoim. Reb Yidy Schwartz. Leiluy nishmat, Miriam, Chava, Miriam, bas Mordecai, Niftero, Yom Kippurim. Tovshin Samach Gimel. Sholom Prager, no text. Mordecai Krieser, no text. What's going on here? In the art of the month, there's a ben Chaya sorrow for all the schusim that come from supporting Limanat Torah. Okay, I think I had a list of names of sponsors. I guess we'll just do it tomorrow. It's not too late to sign up for MDY monthly thing. Rabbi said, we're holding a sugi here. What? Who? Oh. We are holding 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 lines from the bottom, 14 lines from the bottom. We're in the middle of a sugya of shliach lidvar aveiro. If we know that a person can make a shliach, an agent, to do things for you, to be mekadosh a woman, etc., could you appoint a shliach to do an aveira? The Gemara said no. So the Gemara says we have mi'ila. Mi'ila is exception to the rule. Mi'ila is if there's money owned by the Beis HaMikdash and you don't know it's the Beis HaMikdash, and you go ahead and you use this money to purchase something, you're moyel. You're over on the Isser of Me'ilah, you have to bring a carbon, you have to give the Beis HaMikdash 1/5 more. And what if you tell your agent to do it? You tell your agent, go buy me something with this money, and the agent has no idea, the shliach doesn't know that it's money of Hegdish. Who's over the Aveira? The Mishaleach, the guy sending. It's an exception to the rule. When it comes to Me'ilah, Yesh Shliach Ledvar Aveira. The guy sending is over. Says the Gemara, V'neilef mina. We read this, we learned this already, but we'll repeat just to get into the sugya. So if we have a source of a Shliach Ledvar Aveira, let's learn for the rest of the Torah that there's a Shliach Ledvar Aveira. And again, today we're going to have many different sugyas and many different musagim. If you pay attention, mamish could be bekim and a lot of different things. So we have the idea that any time the Torah tells us the same halacha twice, you can't learn out of it. Because the Torah, who knows? I want to ask the kids, you know why Shnei Ksuma Bam Kechad Milamdim? Yo, you know why Shnei Ksuma Bam Kechad Milamdim? If you have two psukim, why can't you learn out of it? Think. You know it. Any kid know it? Who else? Where are the kids? You know? Hold on, you're not a kid yet. We'll get to you. Anybody? Yoi, think about it. If the Torah says it once, you can learn from it. If the Torah says it twice, you can't learn from it. No, too fancy. Why?
Because then it's showing to Davka these and not other ones.
Very good. What's your name? Zevi Lowenstein. How old are you? 13. Very nice. He's a kid. You hear? Now you remember, right? If the Torah says it twice, then Torah is telling us only in these two places and no other place. So the Torah says it twice. Where? Once by Me'ilah, that Yesh Shliach L'Dvar Aveira, and once by Shlichus Yad, Yesh Shliach L'Dvar Aveira. Only in these two places the Torah says Yesh Shliach L'Dvar Aveira, but everywhere else there's no Shliach L'Dvar Aveira. What Shlichus Yad? Mishum Dahave Me'ilah Shlichus Yad Shnei Ksum Abam Ke'achad. We have two sources, and once you have two sources, you can't learn from them. Why? Because the Torah said, if the Torah wanted you to learn from a halacha, the Torah should have said it once, and we'll learn it to the whole Torah. But since the Torah is saying it twice, the Torah is saying only these two places. We just learned Me'ilah. We said it's from Truma. We just explained what Me'ilah is. Shlichus Yad Mahi, what's the case? The Sanya, Al Kol Dvar Pesha. Here's the pasuk. Pasuk is talking about a person who's watching somebody else's chayfetz. I'm watching your chayfetz. I am potter from Eintim. I'm potter from Gnei Vaveda if I'm a Shomer Chinam. But if I move and I touch your thing, I use it. Not move it. I use it. You told me, watch my bike. So I watch your bike. Somebody comes in the middle of the night and steals it. I don't have to give you anything. I did the best I can. If I watch your dog and the dog had some sort of oinus, I'm certainly potter. But if I ride your bike, I take your bike without any permission, I ride your bike around the corner, and then that night somebody comes into my house and steals the bike, I'm chayiv. And if an oinus happened, the ceiling fell down on it and broke the bike, I'm also chayiv. Why? Because I touched it. Now we're going to see, according to Beis Shammai, not only if you use it, but even if you think in your mind that you want to use it. That's a different chiddush. So let's see. Shlichus Yad Mahi, the Sanya Kol Dvar Pesha, Beis Shammai Oimrim L'chayiv Al Machshava Kemaisa. You see, it says in Pasuk Ches, Al Kol Dvar Pesha, on all types of using, even Machshava. Now, it doesn't mean Machshava, because Rashi somewhere else explains over here, Machshava means Dibur. When you have to enunciate, you have to say, I want to ride that bike. Okay, you have to do something, you have to ride the bike. So it says in Pasuk Zayin, Im lo sholach yada. You literally have to send out your hand. You have to do something with your hand. You have to do a maisa. They asked him, what are you going to do with the Pasuk Ches? So they didn't answer them. Where are you going to do Pasuk Zayin? Okay, we hear it says Sholach Yada. It has to be literally a Maisa. So what are you going to do? I'll call dvar pesha. And they learn it dvar, like dibur, to talk. Lamali. Shiyachal ainli elahu. Omer lavdu shluchim minayin. So Basil explain. Ainli shiyachal. That's their answer. Shiyachal ainli elahu. That shlichus yad. I would think it's only with the guy himself. But what if the watcher's slave does it, or because he told him to, or lishluchim minayin here? This is the halacha we're looking for. Yesh shliach l'dvar avera. Because if I'm watching your bike and I tell you to ride the bike around the corner, who's chayiv? The guy that told the guy to ride the bike, the watcher, the original guy, the mishaleach, not the shliach. That's the second case of yesh shliach l'dvar avera tam. Loymar kol dvar pesha. Okay. So again, we have two psukim. What are the two psukim? Mi'ila, shlichus yad. But Bishamai, there's only one pasuk. Take away shlichus yad. Why? Because Bishamai says when you just say it or think it, let's say saying it, that's enough to be chayiv. So there's no shliach. When I tell the shliach, go take my bike around the corner, take this bike that I'm watching around the corner, I'm chayiv on that second. So even if the shliach doesn't take it around the corner, I'm chayiv just because I said it. So there's no shliach l'dvar avera according to Beishamai. So where is the shliach l'dvar avera? Only in one case. Mi'ila, using hegdish. Here, let's take it down. Okay, we got all the videos, we got all the pictures. How say not can we learn? Read my sukkah soon, exactly. Next to Rameir Shapiro over there. Be'ezer Hashem. Be'emes, I'll tell you the truth. I wanted these two posters. Both. But I didn't have the guts to say it. I'm not kidding you. Shalom, I'm not making this up. MS is what's the Yom Kippur, I can't lie. Sukkahposters.com. Let me see. I gave him plenty of plugs, but here, I'll give him another one. It says on the bottom here. Sukkahposters.com. Yeah, Givaldik. Also, they had it, my sister-in-law sent us Erev Yontav, I think it was from this company also, like a different one, like more of a computerized one. They sell two versions of a different magazine. Not this one, the other one.
Elan, you wanted this one for you, your wife wanted the other one?
I wanted both. Stam, what's going on here? Why you put your cell phone? Why not? It's good. What is it called? We already made up. Now it's a clean slate. It starts over. It's all good. Be chayten as much as you want. It's good. So the question comes back. The Torah tells us one time, Mi'ila, Ein Shliach D'var Avera, so learn to the whole Torah, Ein Shliach D'var Avera. The only excuse you have, the only reason out of it you have is if there's two psukim, but according to Bisham, there's only one pasuk. You can't use Shlichus Yad. It doesn't work, because it's b'machshava, not b'maisa. Says the Gemara, okay, I'll find another one. Mishum dahave, top of Mem Gimel Amud Aleph, Mishum dahave Mi'ila Tficho Mechira, Shnei Ksuv Ha'bam Ke'echad. What's Tficho Mechira, the famous halacha, Tficho Mechira, but why not? We're learning a lot of stuff tonight. It says in the pasuk, if a person steals an ox or a sheep, he decides to shecht it after he steals it. First of all, if he steals it, how much is he chayiv? Careful, he's chayiv 2. If he goes ahead and he shechts this animal, now he's chayiv 4 or 5. If it depends, if it's a shar, 4 or 5, depends on what he stole. The halacha is that if you tell a shoichet, shech this animal for me, so you are chayiv 4 or 5, not the shoichet. So you see the concept of shliach l'dvar avera. So now you have another source of shliach l'dvar avera, tficha mechira, plus you have me'ila, that's 2 psukim, ei melamdim, you can't learn it out to the rest of the Torah. V'chol shnei ksuvim abam ke'echad, ei melamdim. Me'ila, hadamara, we spoke about me'ila using Beis HaMikdash money. What's the case? How do you sell something? You need 2 people to be involved. You need a seller and a buyer, purchaser. So you have to come on to somebody else. So tficha also, you could tell a shoichet, go shech this for me, and who's chayiv the 4 or 5? The mishaleach, the ganav. So first of all, you see something very interesting. That if a person steals something, he's chayiv 2. He's chayiv a smaller amount. If he goes ahead and he increases the Aveira, he's shoyna chetoy, the Gemara in Bava Kama calls it, he's shoyna, like he repeats the Aveira, then it jumps up to 4 and 5. The Rebbeinu Yoina says, and he brings a raya from this, that a person who's over an Aveira the second time, we would think logically that he gets less of an Aveira, less of an Einosh. The first time he does it is huge. The second time, okay, he already did it. Now it's just, he gets a little bit Gehenim, not that much. So Rebbeinu says, no, it's the opposite. Person does an Aveira, he gets a certain Einosh. He gets 100 Gehenim. If he does it a second time, he gets 150. Because now he increased the chet. He's shoyna. He did it twice. You see it over here. A guy stole. He had a Yitzhar to steal. But now that you went ahead and you shechted the animal, you increased your Aveira, you went to the next level, now they get you 4 or 5. When you sell something, you need 2 people to be involved. It could be through a second person. Now, just because we're Motzi Yom Kippur, the famous concept. What's going on here? Oh, here. Okay, so Tashlum Dal Vehei is a guy that steals a sheep or steals a cow. Which one do you pay 5? Which one do you pay 4? If you steal a cow, you have to pay 5. If you steal a sheep, you have to pay 4 times. Why? Because the torah, the famous thing, the guy that steals a sheep, he has a lot of busha. He's carrying on his shoulders, he's running through the street. So the Akash Baruch Hu considers in the punishment the busha that a person has. It's unbelievable what embarrassment is. Hashem cares about the embarrassment of the Ganav. If he has a little bit of embarrassment, okay, we'll give him a little bit less of a einish. Has less embarrassment, he's walking like a mensch through the street with a cow, less embarrassment, he has to pay more. So that works by an Aveira. Hashem considers that, and it works by a mitzvah as well. Let's say you're a Magichir and people make fun of you, Barabim. You get a lot of busha. No, let's say, seriously, this is for Shalom Rand. Let's say you go out there and you make a stand, and you tell people, you think you're Lebovic for a minute. You tell people, come, join the daf. It's a big busha. But it's a busha the mitzvah. You have nothing better than that. To be misbayish, to put yourself down, to increase Torah barabim, and to get somebody to learn Torah, it's unbelievable schar. I'm saying, kavachoymer, right? If for an Aveira guy that's a Ganav Hashem cares, so certainly if you're doing mitzvahs and bringing people to Torah, Allah has kama v'kama. No, it's always the spall from the Lubavitchers. They have no busha. They go there in the middle of the street, they don't care. Are you Jewish? No, you're not Jewish. Okay, next. You're Jewish? Yeah, okay, come, do tefillin. It's busha. I want to see you stand in the street for 20 seconds in Middle Manhattan asking people if they're Jewish. No, you're fine. They don't. I'm saying they do it for the mitzvah. Okay. The Bei Rebbe Shmuel Tana, Oy l'Rabbi is Shaliach. So if we go back to the pasuk, you can see on top, there's the word Oy, or the 2 words Tachas. So Rochel is here. The Bei Rebbe Shmuel Tana, Oy l'Rabbi is Shaliach. How do I know that if I send a shoichet, a shecht for me, I have to pay not the shoichet? Because the word Oy, perhaps it should say Umacharoi, not Oy Macharoi. Okay. The extra tachas, because once the Torah says Chamisha Bogir Shalom Tachas Ashar, so it could just say Va'ar Batzain Laseh. What's tachas? I said twice. So the extra tachas. That's how I learned that a shliach, you get the aveira for the shliach. Yes, shliach l'var aveira. Says the Gemara. Right. So every time we had the sugya, I don't know how many times we had already in Kiddushin. Probably 3 times. I don't know. I didn't count. What? We already had it 7 times? Emes? Wow. You sure? That sounds a little bit tight, but okay. 7 times in this Masechta? Okay, I believe you. And they're in different dapim? Wow. 7 times. No, Yoey, you should have known. Yoey, what's going to be with you? No, I asked them because an adult told me he doesn't know the reason. I said, what do you mean you don't know? We learned it so many times already in Kiddushin. I thought everybody would know. So I'm going to ask some kids. Let's see what happens. Okay. It's a hard one. So right, every time we have the sugya, not every time, but a lot of times when we say when you have the two psukim together, you can't learn out of it. Yehuda says again. So we have two psukim, we have the pasuk of Me'ilah, we have the pasuk at least of Dal Vehei. Two psukim that tell us yesh shliach l'dvar aveira. So there should be a shliach l'dvar aveira. If I tell somebody, I want you to murder somebody, and he goes and he murders that person, I should be chayiv, because just like Me'ilah, you're chayiv, just like shlichus yad, you're chayiv, Dal Vehei, you're chayiv. So to murder, why not? I tell somebody, do avodah zarah. You do avodah zarah, and he goes and does avodah zarah. I should be chayiv. Says the Gemara, Gali Rachmona b'shchut echutz, dam yichashav lishahu. Because we have an opposing pasuk that tells us ein shlich d'var aver. Where? By shchut echutz. Shchut echutz is the idea that you're not allowed to shecht a carbon. It's an animal that somebody already designated as a carbon. This animal is going to be a noila. Where do you shecht the noila? Inside the Beis Hamikdash. Where do you shecht the chatas? Inside the Beis Hamikdash. He goes ahead and takes the chatas and shechts it in the middle of the street, in the middle of Yerushalayim somewhere. Shchut echutz. So it says, Dam yichashav leishahu, dam shafach. Hu v'lo yishluchai. I think we have right over here. Dam yichashav leishahu, dam shafach, yishahu mekeravam. It says ahu twice, we'll see soon. So the idea is, the word ahu is extra. The Achronim say that if a person b'zman hazeh davens b'yichidus, it's similar to shchut echutz. Because Klal Yisrael davens inside the base medrash, you daven outside the base medrash like shchut echutz. For those who daven, I davened, unfortunately, probably the first time in my life, I davened Ma'ariv of Yom Kippur last night in my house because I was sick. I couldn't make it to Shul. Okay? Much later, like 12 o'clock at night. Oh, sorry. That's great because you have a pasuk by shchut echutz that you cannot send a shliach. It only works by the person himself gets the aver. The yalav b'shchut echutz. So, and how do you know the kol haTorah? The yalav b'shchut echutz. You learn from shchut echutz. Says the Gemara with the obvious question. Ad yalav b'shchut echutz neilav mahanoch. So here's the thing. If you forgot for a second, here we said we have two psukim, Me'ilah and Daled Vehei. Both of those tell us yesh shliach l'dvar aveira. In both of those cases, the Gemara brings another pasuk from shchut echutz, from the word ahu, ein shliach l'dvar aveira. So why would we go with the left if we go with the right? Make it taste it to learn from that pasuk that ein shliach l'dvar aveira. I can't send somebody to do avodah zarah for me. Why? Ein shliach l'dvar aveira because shchut echutz. Let's learn from the two psukim. Yesh shliach l'dvar aveira. According to the Manda Omar that says you can learn from two psukim, learn from those two psukim. According to the Manda Omar, most hold that if it's twice you can't learn out of it. Great. By the way, let me ask you a question. If you have those two psukim and you can't learn out of it, so how do I know ein shliach l'dvar aveira? So the answer is, and we're going to need it for a second, not from this pasuk. You don't need shchut echutz. You know how you learn it? The Gemara learned it on Erev Yom Kippur. We had the sugya. Divrei Rav, Divrei Talmud, Divrei Mishayim. But if you're dealing with two psukim that I can learn at two psukim, I can say, oh, I have a svara, Divrei Rav, Divrei Talmud, Divrei Mishayim. You can't use the svara against two psukim. So that's why the Gemara brings another pasuk to help us out. Ein shliach l'dvar aveira. Even though from two psukim yesh shliach l'dvar aveira. But now the Gemara is saying, what's a toss-up? Which one do you learn from? Adiyol mishchut echutz neilav mahanoch. Says the Gemara, the kazer rachmana v'nichras ha'ishahu. So if you look, that's what we said. This twice it says the word ahu. It's an extra ahu. We had this concept yesterday as well. Anytime we have an idea, a concept that we cannot use, the Torah already here said by shchut echutz that I cannot send a shliach. If I send a shliach, the shliach is absolved from the aveira. I'm sorry, he gets the aveira. Yes, ein shliach l'dvar aveira, he gets the aveira. So why does the Torah say twice? Why does the Torah say ahu twice? It made it in the can. If I can't use it in this case of shchut echutz, let's use it for the whole Torah. In the kol haTorah kula, that what? Ein shliach ledvar aveiro. Okay. So now we go back to over here. According to Mandam, we have two psukim and ein melamdim. So if I cannot use those two psukim on the right, I don't even need the pasuk on the left. Why? Because divrei Rav, divrei Talmud, divrei Mishaymim. If the Rebbe, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells you to do something, and somebody else tells you to do something, it's not an excuse. You have to listen to your route. You have to listen to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So ein shlich devar aveira. So if ein shlich devar aveira, why do I need this pasuk b'chlal? It happens to be, without talking a lot of lashon hara, Erev Yom Kippur, somebody came over to me. He said, I want to ask you mechila. I said, why? He said, the other day I came into shir and I was dancing. I was going like this. So I said, I said, without saying names, nobody saw. So I said, you're doing a chil MDY. People are going to see the shir and say, people are meshug over here. They're going to go to some other shirim, I don't know, there's no dancing, no nothing. He said, yeah, but so-and-so told me to do it. So he said, I'm not going to say your name. He blamed it on you. He told me to do it. I said, I told him, divrei Rav, divrei Talmud, divrei Mishaymim. What do you mean somebody else told you to do it? I told you not to. Which one?
The lady in Chicago.
Yeah.
The lady that posted that you should in Chicago.
Oh, you mean, it's Echila MDY, you're saying. You have to ask her Mechila or me Mechila.
She gave him listen to both.
Did she? She did. Yeah. Imagine it. Okay. You do have to ask Mechila. So the only answer for you, Reb Shalom, is Chuvas HaMishkol. You have to take a stand and get some people to join the shir, like your parents Chaim Levin. One day you'll be Zaycha.
Is he coming to the...
He has already decided. He can't afford it.
Yes, he comes to the Shalom, no?
I'll tell you what, put up both pictures and recruit for both shiurim. At least recruit. Not a bad idea. All right, Zok Gemara. So you hear the cheshbon. It's a little bit interesting. You have to just know this in Nikuda here. Again, if I'm not going to learn anything from the two psukim on the right, then I don't need the pasuk on the left. Why? Because then I could use my svara, I could use logic, common sense. Common sense tells me, without any psukim, remove all psukim, could I make a shliach to do an avera? Could I tell somebody to do avodah zarah? Could I make a shliach to kill somebody? No. Why? Because he shouldn't be doing it. So what if you told him to do it? Then the question is, so then when I have this whole pasuk shchut chutz that says the word ahu, if two people are shechting shchut chutz, they take a karban chatas in middle of petach tikva, they start shechting a chatas. Two people, they're not chayiv. When people do an avera, two people do an avera, they're not chayiv. What if two people do a mitzvah? Just thinking about it on Yom Kippur. What mitzvah did two people do at the same time on Yom Kippur? What? Very good, but you're close. What do you do on Yom Kippur? Two people do the same mitzvah. He's close. No, it has to do with you. Washing the Levim, washing the hands. And it's l'chayr not a good idea to do. I don't know the halacha exactly, but I'm thinking, I heard it once, that two Levim should not hold on to the cup. Because just like two people holding on to a knife and shechting a korban are not chayiv, two people holding on, right? Rabbi Shomrig, am I right? You don't know the halacha? I think they should switch off Levim. They should switch off Kohanim. One Levi does this in America because it's once a year. You have like 35 Levim, they're all touching. Okay? Chavivus ha-mitzvah. Chavivus ha-mitzvah. But I don't think they're yoytza. What? You don't share? Svardim don't share because they know the stuff. They've been here first. They've been doing Birkas Kohanim all the years, everywhere. What? You tell the other Levi, go find somebody else to do it for? What? Each one does one kain. Very good. But the problem is, what happens if it's Yom Kippur? You live in Chutz La'aretz and there's one kain in the whole shul. You have to be in Vater. I hear? Yeah, why not? Vikidashtoi, whatever, I think, whatever the lashon is. To Mevater is a bigger mitzvah, he says. Okay, very good. We're not knowing like that. I know we're not. I know. Why? I don't know.
There were more things over here.
The new base marriage. Zog the Gemara, Tani Oimel Shluchitei Haragis Hanefesh. Rabbi, think about this for a second. I have conflicting thoughts about this Gemara coming up. If I tell somebody to kill somebody, I hire him for murder. I kind of ruined it because in America there's a certain way. I thought, you go kill that guy. Who should be chayiv? The killer or the guy that sends? Both. That's one shita. Anybody say just the killer? No. What do you say, Zalman Tzvi? Just the killer. Anybody say just the sender? Nobody says just the sender. But both. Oh. Huh?
The guy that kills all the time. John.
That's his job.
The guy that ordered it. There's two different.
I hear you're saying if he's a murderer. He's a hitman. He's a hitman. He just give him $10. He kills. No problem. I don't know. The Gemara seems to say that the sender. I had a little bit of an issue to understand it, but I thought most people I spoke to, they understood 100%. You convinced him. You have a big part of it. In American law, if you hire somebody to kill, you might go to jail longer than the guy that killed sometimes. I don't know. Not at Kiddushin, but they're very, very machmer on it. Huh? I did. Oh. Hold on, yeah. They convinced a girl convinced her boyfriend to commit suicide. They put her away. Yeah, I remember that story. That was like a year ago. No, yeah, true. Yeah, according to the Gemara, they're right. According to the Gemara, there's a big tie-in in that. Convincing somebody to do something, you can't punish in this world, but Hashem will punish for it. V'chadu, let's just go back a second. V'chadu v'loyanus. If you're anus and you shechted b'chutz, there's nothing, no avero. Hu v'loy shoygeg, hu v'loy muta. If they forced you to shech b'chutz, or you did by mistake, or they fooled you, they told you it's not a carbon, it's a regular, it's not shchudichutz. V'idach, mehu ahu. Oh, this is important that we went back. Ahu. It should have just said who in the pasuk. Dami choshev lo'ish hu. Or ish hu. Ha-hu. The extra hey teaches us vidach hu ahu lo'i darish. Why not darish? He says that's the normal way to write it. You can't make drushes from the extra hay. Says Gemara, if I convince somebody to kill someone, who chayav v'sholchav patur, the sender is patur. Shammai azoken oimer mishum chagei hanavi. Shammai brings this from a navi. Sholchav chayav, and we're going to have to explain what that means. The guy sending, the sender, he's chayav. Shenemar oisoi harakto becherev b'nei Amud. So we have to go back to the famous story Batsheva. David HaMelech saw Batsheva, and the Rishonim explained David HaMelech knew that he had to be married to her. So what he did was he sent Batsheva's husband Uriah Hittite to the front line, and the Navi says that he kind of says in the pasuk he instructed them to leave him there. So they're fighting the front line, and everybody ran away, and he was stuck there by himself fighting the enemy. Of course, he got killed. Now, when you go out to war, you give a get to your wife. So the shayla is if it works retroactively. Taisus holds that you give a real get. You divorce your wife 100%, and then you go to war. And when you come back, you get married again. So David HaMelech sent him to war. He was already divorced. He was allowed to be with her, not allowed to be with her. That's Kaloimer David Chata in Elataya. If you think that he sinned, okay, it's a whole nidai. Point is that Nasan HaNavi told David HaMelech, you killed him. You killed Uriah Hittite, but he didn't kill him. He just sent him to the front lines. The enemy killed him. Oh, but that's considered killing him. You killed him. You see that if you send somebody you ask somebody to kill somebody, the one that asked, he's chayiv. My time is Shammai Azokin, so we have the two psukim. So go back over here. Mi'ila and Dal Vei. Yei shliach l'dvar aveiro. V'hu ahu loy darish. I'm not going to darshan the pasuk from Shchut Chutz. Milamdim. I learn yeshlich l'dvar avera. V'boisei meloilom darish. No, he does use the word ahu. That what? Ain't shliach l'dvar avera. Umay chayav b'din hashamayim. Shammai never meant he's chayav. You're going to put this guy to death. You're going to put David HaMelech to death because he sent Uri Achiti to the front lines? He's not chayiv misa. B'din hashamayim, he said. You're chayiv, Hashem will take care of you. Miklal, the Tanakama Sovar, Afilu b'din hashamayim, nami palter. Now the Gemara understands that it's impossible that if you convince somebody to kill somebody else, it's impossible you be absolved completely, that you're completely palter. How is it possible that the Tanakama argues and says he's not chayiv? If you're saying that we're talking about min hashamayim, so that means the Tanakama holds that he goes up to Shemayim and they ignore the fact that he hired a guy to kill him. It's impossible, the Gemara says. Can't be completely potter. So whoever here thought, like myself, that if you hired somebody to kill somebody else, who told this killer to kill? So what if I hired him? No. You're 100% chayiv b'din hashamayim, according to everybody. Says the Gemara, Dina Rabba v'Dina Zuta kibinayu. Are they going to be done this guy like a murderer? When he gets up to Shemayim and they say, hey, murderer, come here. You have to go to the Gehenna of murderers. Special frying pan over there, very, very high degrees for many years. I don't know what they do over there for a murderer. And the other one says, no, he's not a real murderer. He's a bad guy. He hired somebody to murder. He's not a murderer. We're going to put him in a smaller thing, in the oven, whatever, for less months. Dina Rabba v'Dina Zuta. Do we consider a murderer or not a murderer? Because he hired him. Says the Gemara, maybe this is special halacha by murder. You could send a shliach for murder, only in one case, in murder. No. That you're not going to be punished. My timer. Why was David HaMelech not punished for this? Because Uri Achiti deserved to die. Because he rebelled against the king. The Komarle, he said right in front of David HaMelech, he was talking about Yoav. He called Yoav Adoini, my master. You don't call somebody a master in front of the king. Right? For that alone, he should be Chayiv Misa, and that's why David HaMelech wouldn't get punished for that. Omar Rava. If you hold that you could learn from these two psukim, from Eli and Dal Vehei, and therefore he has a source for Yeshlich Dvar Aveira, I found it interesting that today, by Mincha, what do we lay? Arayas, the parish of Arayas. So if somebody says, I want to appoint you a shliach to go be with your own sister. Arayas. And eat this piece of fat from Weissfish. Everybody will admit that even if you say Yesh Lich L'Dvar Aveira, I could send somebody to kill someone and I'll be chayiv, that's only by killing an Avodah Zarah and Chil Shabbos, whatever. But not in something that you benefit and enjoy. It's impossible. A person eats a cheeseburger, and the guy that sent him to eat the cheeseburger is chayiv. Why? Because when it comes to those kind of averas, the chiv is on the isser is in the hana shabai, and he had the hana, not me. So he should suffer, not me. So there's no shlich. So if somebody asks you, even if you hold yesh shlich levar avera, even if we're going to say there's two sources for it, the yesh shlich levar avera, but that would be only on part of the Torah, not on the isurim of hana. I hear it's paid to kill, but that's something that's like a side benefit. It's not the hana is not in the avera, unless somebody enjoys killing a killer. That's then you talk about. So the Belzer told me a Maisa with the Belzer Rav. The Belzer Rav was instructed by his doctor to eat a little bit more. So the Belzer Rav called somebody in and he said, I want you to eat more for me. Because he only was makbid not to eat a certain amount. So the Gabbai, he told me his name, Yosef Heichler. Yosef Heichler didn't like the fact that the Rebbe wasn't eating, wasn't listening to the doctors. So he made a shtick. He had a person come, and the person right in front of the Rebbe asked Yosef Heichler, Did you put on tefillin today? So Yosef Heichler said, no, I didn't put on tefillin. I paid somebody to put on tefillin for me. So the Rebbe jumped, whoa, what? He said, how can you do that? He says, I made a shliach dvar mitzvah, shkoyach. He says, yeah, but you can't do shliach dvar mitzvah. It's a mitzvah shebegufay. You have to do it yourself. He says, no, but the Rebbe also, to eat, the doctor said you have to eat more. That's a mitzvah shebegufay. So he said, okay, you're right. He's mekabel, and from that minute on, he ate. That's the Belzer Chassid told me this. Fine. Itmar. Rav Amar Shliach Nasa Eid. Rabbi said, today's daf, we have different sugyas. It's unbelievable. This is a big sugya. It's going to be over very quickly, actually, because we're going to go into the next sugya. Listen to this. Somebody sends two people, let's say, to engage a woman for him. Give a ring over to the woman that she should be engaged to him. Could they also act as the Eidim under the chuppah? They're the ones doing the shlichus. They also want to be the Eidim. Makes a lot of sense. They should. There's nobody in the world that knows the story better than them. The chassan sent them. They saw that the wife was mekabel the ring. Why do you need more? Let's say another case. Somebody borrowed money from somebody. So the borrower tells two people, here, take this $1,000, bring it to the lender. Could the two people testify that it was paid off? Or do you need an extra two people? It could be one person, one shliach. It could be two people. Doesn't matter. Could one person be one aid together with another aid? Itma, Rav Omar shliach nas aid. The shliach, the agent, could also act as a witness. The Reb Shila Amri ain't shliach nas aid. No, he can't. My time at the Reb Shila. Maybe because they weren't instructed. If a person here, this non-religious guy comes into Beis Medrash as shtick in front of two Kyle guys. He goes, and he gives like the girl a ring in front of them. So the two Avrechim, they looked away. Like a sugar guy comes in the middle of Beis Medrash. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't say, hey, look, it's not for shtick to bother them. He said, so they looked away. And then after they looked away, they looked and they saw she has a ring on her finger. Says, oh, tumul, she mekudeshes, not mekudeshes, she kameshes. The Gemara says over here, you didn't instruct him, you're my Eidim. Of course, it's good Kiddushin. You don't have to tell people to be the witnesses for Kiddushin. Elo, so that can't be the reason that he says they're not Eidim. Rav says that the agent could be an aid. Why? Fakert. It's more powerful when the agent is an aid. He's the best aid in the world. He knows exactly what happened there. So what's the opposite svara? The Reb Shila Amri in shliach nas aid kivin do amar mar shlucha shalom kamoisai. What do we say? We already established shlucha shalom kamoisai. An agent acts like the person himself. So the person himself can't testify about his own kiddushin. You can't have the chassan, I'm an aid to my own kiddushin. You need somebody else. If they're his shliach, then they are instead of him. They're like his body, so they can't testify. Makes sense? Our case. He tells 3 people. 2 is not enough. 3. Excuse me. He tells 3 people, go out and be mekadosh a woman. So what happens? B'shamai say, 1 acts as the shliach, 2 act as the edim. Perfect. So over here, right away, we have Beisil hold, ein shliach naseid. That answers the question. Rav Amar shliach naseid. Over here, Beisil say, ein shliach naseid. It's a big problem. Because Rav is the Golan Adar, and he's not going to argue on Beisil. Beisil, the halach is like them. But anyway, the Gemara goes even further. If Even Beis Shammai will admit that if it started out with two people, Ein Shliach Naseid. Right? The words Ein Shliach Naseid makes you nervous and makes it sound complicated, but it's not. Ein Shliach, could a agent also act as an aid? Very simple sugya, weiter. Says Gemara Huda Amar Kaitana, Rav holds like this Tana. The Sanya Reb Nosson Oimer, Beis Shammai Oimrim, Shliach ve'ed, or Beis Hillel Oimrim, Shliach ushne. What happened? Oh. No, Rav is going to hold like this other Tana that said it differently. The Sanya Reb Nosson Oimer, Beis Shammai Oimrim, Shliach ve'ed echad. You have a different girsa? Or Beis Hillel Oimrim, Shliach ushne eidim. So Beis Hillel are the ones that say Shliach v'shnei eidim. Fine. V'Rav k'Beis Shammai. So asking more, Rav k'Beis Shammai, how is it possible that Rav holds like Beis Shammai, the halacha is like Beis Hillel? Eipoch. You have to flip the shittas around. Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai. Rav is going to hold like Beis Hillel now. V'Rav achaber the Rav v'masnei ibcha. The what? Rav Omar ain't Shliach Naseid. So he says you don't have to switch Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai. You have to switch Rav. Rav never said yesh shliach, that Shliach Naseid. Fakert. Rav holds ain't Shliach Naseid, and that fits right into Beis Hillel. The Reb Shila Amri Shliach Naseid. The Hilchasa at the end of the day, this is how we pass in Shliach Naseid, that an agent could be an aid, and obviously Beis Hillel hold that, and Rav holds that. Very good. Huh? Yeah, even if there's just one. Doesn't matter. A Shliach always becomes an aid, and he could be mitzvah to somebody else that saw it. Talking about Eidos, so another Chassid Shemaisa, a kid comes into oh, I'm in the middle of a story. But I'm in the middle of a story. There's a kid came into the Rebbe. What did you say?
Unless they're puzzle aid.
Unless they're puzzle aid. The Krovim. What else? Okay. What? Mesach B'Kuvya. All right. A woman. What else?
Story.
Maisa. Kid comes into the leather Rebbe with his father. So whole Maisa how he got there. That's not part of the story. Part that's important to us is the Rebbe said, "What are you learning?" He said, "I'm learning Mishnayos Sanhedrin." He says, "No, you have any good kashas on Mishnayos Sanhedrin?" He says, "Yeah." Why is it that a karov, a relative, is pasal eidos when he's testifying against his own relative? Let's say a son testifies against his father. If he testifies for his father, I get it, he's biased. But if he's testifying against his father, you should believe him. So the Rebbe says, "Oh, that's a very good kasha." Do you have an answer? He says, "Yeah." Because if he testifies against his own father, then he's not a mensch. He's not a human being. He's pasal eidos. Person that testify against his father is pasal eidos. So he says, "Oh, now because of this kid, I have a limud schos. Refuah Shlema, Tata, when you're done at Klal Yisrael Yom Kippur, your father, how can you be done against your own son? You can't do that." So Mela, huh?
It's like a Mishnah story about the mom there.
Yeah. He told the woman, "You pasal eidos, Baruch Atah Hashem." Yeah. Zog the Gemara. Okay, Omar Rav Omar Rachel. Bottom line here. He tells two people, "Go and be Mekadesh a woman for me." Hein shluchov, hein edov. So that's the halacha we just learned. The halacha l'maisi tell two people, "Go be Mekadesh this woman." They act also as the edim. The Chaim begerushin. He tells two people, "Go give this get to my wife." They could testify that she's divorced. The Chaim b'dinim b'minis. He tells two people, "Go pay back my loan." They can testify that they delivered the money. Now, think about it for a second. Is there a problem testifying that you delivered the money? Sometimes it could be a big problem. They could be biased. Maybe they took the money in their own pocket and they're testifying they gave it back. So let's see. Utzricha says Gemara, we need all these three cases. The Ashmina Kiddushin Mishum de Lemeisra Kasi. What do they have to gain when they say this woman is married? They're saying the opposite. If they ever wanted to marry her, they can't. So they had nothing to gain. We should certainly believe them that she's married. Maybe one of the witnesses is lying because he wants to marry her, so he lied that she's divorced. She's really not. Two are going to lie that she's divorced. Well, one wants to marry, but both of them want to marry. They can't. But when it comes to mumminess, maybe they'll divide the loot. Tzrichi, we need it. We just turned to Amud Beis, sponsor for all those in need of Refuah Shlema, and by innovations, in honor of my uncle Reb Elchanan Pressman and as zchut for a year filled with Maz Broch Hatzlocha and Parnas B'Revach for all of the MDY family. Shkoyach. So Mar just goes off for a second here, and then we're going to go to the next sugya. Micah Sover, what's going on here? So it's interesting. Every time we have these sugyas, we learn new musagim, things we haven't learned in a long time. There's the machlokes. When a person lends money in front of two witnesses, do you have to return in front of two witnesses? Because it makes a lot of sense. If I lent it in front of two witnesses, that means I'm very makbid on witnesses. And it's like I'm making a condition, I'm making a t'nai. I'm saying, look, I lent you with two witnesses, return it with two witnesses. So if that's the case, so we have to insert here, just insert and write in your own Gemara if you could, that we're talking about a case where these agents received the money in front of Edom. Now, since they received the money in front of Edom, they must return it in front of Edom. It must be done in front of Edom. So they're negeya be'edos. Why? The amr loy parane, if they say, we did not give it back to the malva, omar lahu peruni. So the loiva will say, hey, you didn't give it the money to the malva, give it to me. They have no choice. They must lie and they must say they gave it to the malva, because if they don't say that, then they're gonna have to give it to the loiva. Why? Because the loiva gave it to them in front of two Edom. So they have to return it in front of two Edom, and they didn't return it to the loiva, and they didn't give it back to the malva. So they're stuck. They have to lie that they gave it to the malva. Now we'll see in a second why when they say they gave it to the malva, they're believed. At the end of the day, he must hold that even if he gave it in front of Edom to the agents, you don't have to give it back in front of Edom. And because they could say, we gave it back to the loiva, why could they say they gave it back to the loiva? Because then it's not necessary to do it in front of Edom. The loiva gave it to them in Edom. They don't have to return to the loiva with Edom. So therefore, they believe, since they have a migo, they could go both ways. They're not locked in a corner that they could only say, hey, we gave it to the malva. Since they have options here, they can say we gave it back to the loiva. They can say they gave it back to the malva. And therefore, they're believed. Says the Gemara like this. Now we're learning a new musig in Shas. There's something called a Shvuas Heses. What's a Shvuas Heses? We are very familiar with Shvuah of Moedim Miktas. If I come to you, I say you owe me $100, and you admit to half or some of it, so I can invoke a shvuah. I say, okay, so now you swear. Chazaka, you know them. What's the chazaka that it makes part of the Bachayva? Thank you. This is a chazaka. So anyway, you have to make a shvuah. Chacham said, even if you're kaifer bakal, if I say you owe me $100, you say lahei dvar ma'olam, I don't owe you a dime, I can make you make a shvuah seses. So a shvuah seses is the same. It's just on a kaifer bakal. V'hasher talking about a shvuah seses. So now it's better for them to say that we paid the malva rather than saying we gave it back to the loiva. Because if they say we gave it back to the loiva, he'll say, hey, make a shvuah seses. But if they say we gave it to the malva can't make them make a shvuah seses. Why? They have no connection to him. We don't know you, malva. We never got anything from you. How can the malva go to two people in the street and say, hey, swear that you never paid me, that you did pay me? We don't know you. We have no shaykhs to you. The only shaykhs they have is they have a connection to the loiva. There's Aiden that actually saw the loiva giving a box of money to these two agents, and now they claim they paid it. So now the loiva is going to say, make a shvuah for me. You hear? So it's important to know the nafkamina. Between the malva they have no connection. Between the loiva they have a connection. So the loiva could say, I want you to make a shvuah seses. Therefore, now that there's an institution of something called the shvuah seses, Rav Nachman actually did it. So in Mela, they are biased. They're not going to want to say we paid the loiva, because then he's going to say make a shvuah. They're going to want to say I paid the malva. They're biased. Now we can't trust them anymore. So the Edom are going to swear that they gave the malva. So they have to swear. So it's and the malva will say, I never received anything. And now the loiva is going to have to pay the malva. So now there's another concept, Gishmak. It's called Chenvani al Pinkasai. Chenvani al Pinkasai means We have it here in Eretz Yisrael. Years ago, before I made Aliyah, I never made Aliyah, but before I moved to Eretz Yisrael, we spent the summer here in, I forgot, like Katamon or something. So one of the things that my kids loved so much about Eretz Yisrael, more than all the trips and everything, is that in the morning, they went to the Makolet all by themselves. They walked downstairs, they went to the Makolet, and they took all the treats they wanted, and they didn't have to pay anything. The guy just writes it down. That's Chemini up in Kasa, basically. Yes, the kids, after the whole thing. Today we went to that place, you shoot what is it called? The 3 something, what is it called? It costs like $1,000 for the fountain. What did you like today? Oh, I liked it. I got a chocolate for free from the Makolet. Ugh. Okay, so that's why I spend all that money on the thing. Fine. You tell your workers, go to that Makolet and take whatever you want for Shabbos, and I'll pay the Makolet guy. And that's how I'm going to pay you. I'm not going to pay you today your salary. You just go to the Makolet. What happened was, the Makolet guy says, 2 guys came, Erev Shabbos, and they bought $1,000 worth of stuff. You go to the 2 workers, they say, no, we never went to Makolet. We're going to go on Sunday. Now what happens? The halacha is, Makolet guy makes a shvuah, the workers make a shvuah, and what's his name? The balabait. How you call balabait in English? The boss, whatever his name is, he has to pay everybody. So that's what happens. Mamish. So Rashi says this is the same halacha over here. The loiva has to pay both. The malva makes a shvuah, the agents make a shvuah, and the loiva loses. Fine. Zog the Gemara. Ho'ish. It's kedai to say the story, even though I said it 100 times. One of the most famous stories. I think it's the Rochel. The Rochel was learning in the Beis Medrash, and a guy came to him and paid him back a loan. So Rochel took the money. What? Rashash. Thank you. Rashash. He took the money, put it in his Gemara, closed his Gemara, kept on learning. Then, like at the end of the month, he looked at his thing and he went to the guy. He says, "You owe me money." So the guy said, "I paid you." He says, "No, you never paid me." Kids are back forth. And I don't know the details, but the guy had to pay back. It was a big thing. Years later, or however much later, the Rashash was learning, and he opens up his Gemara, and he finds the money there. And I think that had to do with the shvuah. Was there a shvuah in the story? He made him swear or not? I don't know.
The guy didn't want to swear.
Oh, very good. That's what happened. The guy didn't want to swear. So he says, "You don't want to swear, then you pay back, you have to pay me." And he made him pay him. The guy paid him back the second time. And this is the Rashash. Understand what's going on here? Rashash. Meanwhile, the guy had a bad name because the Rashash said he's fighting with the Rashash. He's telling the Rashash is a liar and he doesn't want to swear. Yeah, you see, if you were true, so how come you don't want to swear? So when the Rashash found the money, he felt terrible and he went back to the guy. The guy said, I want to be Moichel, the Rav, but the whole city thinks I'm a Shegitz. So I'll tell you what, if you do a shidduch with my daughter, your son, my daughter, your daughter with your son, whatever it was, then it'll be a good mechila. So the Rashash married off his kid to this guy's kid, famous Maisa. Anyway, Zok the Gemara. Ho'ish mekadosh is bitoy. Next sugya, we're learning. It's a rare thing that we have so many sugyas on one daf. Ho'ish mekadosh is bitoy. Brand like complete different sugya. If you just woke up or you're falling asleep, it's not the end of the world because we finished one sugya, we're going to the next. You'll do it tomorrow. Ho'ish mekadosh is bitoy. Nine awesome. Naira mirasa. We have to finish up anyways. It's late. Naira mirasa yiva v'yom mekadosh gita. So we have halacha that we learned in Gittin, right? Whoever learned Gittin with us remembers this, that if we have a Ktana, Naira, Bogeres. Naira is between 12 and 12 and a half. And she's engaged, not married, because once she's married, the father's out of the picture. Hiva via Mekablas Gita. She could accept a get, the father could accept a get, she's still in the father's jurisdiction. It doesn't make any sense. How could 2 people be zoich in the same thing? Either the father or the girl, not both of them. Ella avia mekabel gita, only the father. V'chol she'eni yichol lishmor gita, ein yichol garish. It says over there in that Mishnah. Look at this pasuk, famous because of the Sefer Krisis. V'shilcha beisay. Remember, everybody remembers this lashon. Mishalcha v'eni chozeres. Yeah, it has to be a girl that knows not to come back. If she's a 7-year-old kid and she keeps on running back to her husband, it's not a get. Yeah, even a 7-year-old. He goes, a 7-year-old. Very good. It's a good kasha. But in those days, remember how old was Rivka? 3-year-old. 3-year-old. 7-year-old is twice his age. Orange Lakish, Kemachlek is the Givaldik. Orange Lakish, Kemachlek is the Gerushin, Kemachlek is the Kiddushin. That was, just like by Gerushin, Rebuda said, just the father could accept. So, Rebuda says, by Kiddushin also, just the father. Rabbi Elchanan machlokes Gerushin al Kiddushin divrei hakol aviyav Elohi. By Kiddushin, everybody agrees it's just the father. Rabbi Yosef, Reb Elchanan, my time with Rabbi Yochanan and Leba Rabbanan. Gerushin v'achnes zatzul l'rshus aviyah. Gerushin that she's coming back to her father. Ben hi ben aviyah. The father wants her to come back, so he gives her the rshus, so to speak. She has the schos, the father has the schos. Kiddushin, the mafkaz zatzul l'rshus aviyah. When she's miskadeshes, stage 1 of marriage. Kiddushin. Now she's already leaving her father's jurisdiction, sort of, kind of. Now he needs, when it comes to Afaris and Darim, he has to come on to the husband, to the chasen. Aviyah v'lohi. He doesn't like that she does it. Only him. Fine, we'll stop over here. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful week. A Gemar Tov, a Piskat Tov, a good bench your tomorrow morning, 7:15.